Our next speaker was introduced to me by John Cleary, a gentleman called Chris Griffiths. I really like what he does. Not only does he have something really new and exciting, but he's a genuinely nice person as well. So, Chris Griffiths, we're in your hands.
Best unmute myself then, hadn't I?
It helps.
Right, let's see if I can get my screen share going. Okay. Share. Have we got that? Can we see my screen okay? Brilliant. So, I'm not actually speaking about myself or my business in this presentation too much. Jamie asked me to have a little bit of a presentation around motivation. And I come from quite a varied background. I've played professional sport, I've been in different businesses, I've tried various different things. So it took me a while to think about how am I actually going to approach this subject of motivation and what can I do to add value to you guys that are here today. So some of it is a bit of cold theory, of which I am going to fly through and make the slides available at the end so you can actually go back and review that bit at your own pace. And then I'm going to finish off with some of my thoughts and tips on the subject, which will hopefully give you something to take away. But I feel it's important to cover off some of the theory in the first place, because that'll really help kind of frame those thoughts and tips that I've got at the end. So there's me. My business is Voicon. Let's get started. So first one, why bother? Why bother thinking about motivation for yourself or for others? Why not just get on with it? Well, motivating staff is critical for the success of any business. Recognizing that people are fundamentally different and not everybody responds the same, hugely important. And it's important for organizations to understand that, because they need that to understand how people are going to behave in different places and the different personalities that they have. You can't do anything if you don't have the information. So I've picked out some popular theories here. I've only picked out 3. There are hundreds and hundreds and hundreds. Some of you have heard of these, some of you won't have done. I've picked out 3: Maslow's, McClelland's and Hertzberg's, and I'm not going to spend ages going through these, but you're going to get a quick whistle-stop tour. So Maslow is probably, I would think, the most popular one. That pyramid, you see it anywhere if you start doing business training. It's very popular, but I've interpreted this a little bit today. So those physical needs at the bottom, I'd say that's pay, that's salary, that's the things that lets you pay the bills. There's no point thinking about anything else when you're coming to your own motivation or others if you can't afford to pay the bills. Next, we've got security and the need to feel safe. We've got the social need. We've heard people talking earlier today, haven't we, about networking and when you're on your own and needing to speak to other human beings that are like-minded. Ego. I've put ego. It could be how you view yourself. When you look in the mirror, what do you see? Are you happy to tell somebody else what you do for a living, or you're ashamed about it? And then finally, the fancy one, self-actualization. Does it make you feel good? That's really what it boils down to. Told you I'd whistle through. Next one, McClelland's. Very simple graphic for this one. 3 things. The need for power, the need for achievement, so it's setting goals and achieving those goals, and the need for affiliation, again, being part of a group working with other like-minded people, and social interactions. Then we'll come on to Hertzberg's, and this comes under 2 different names actually, so you may have heard about it as 2-factor or hygiene theory. Either really works, it doesn't matter. Probably the most simple one actually, I'm just going to flick through so you can see all of them on screen at the same time. You've got motivators, are the factors that drive people, so job recognition, promotion, achievements, that's the green arrow upwards. the red arrow downwards, the hygiene, and his belief was that if they're not happy, it comes down to the working environment, and if they are happy, it comes down to the motivating factors. You can see there's commonality between these theories, but they all come at it from a different point of view. So when I sent this off to Jamie, Jamie came back to me and said, I want to hear about what are your motivators. So I've added some in here. This is an easy one, and I bet nearly everybody here would have this if you asked them what was the first thing that drives you. It's family. Making sure I can feed, house, clothe, protect and nurture my own family. That's the thing that motivates me, number one. Number two, growing, learning, becoming better at something. I took up a new sport late in life at the age of 40, and I love the fact that every day I did it, I was better than the day before. And that gave me a fantastic feeling. I hated doing the sport that I did when I was 5 years old, because every day I was just worse than I was before. Giving, helping others, sharing knowledge. Seeing other people succeed. It's a very un-British trait, isn't it? We tend to, unfortunately, put down people who succeed. I've been fortunate enough to live in Australia, to spend a lot of time in the States and see how other cultures actually celebrate people who succeed, rather than saying, oh, well, if you've got a nice car, you must be a footballer or a drug dealer. Why not say, well done? Haven't you done great? And again, I'm human. Status, recognition, respect and trust of the people that I value is important to me. Of course it is, but it's not number one. So I have flown through this because I want to try and get us some time back. I've got some final thoughts that I want to share. I don't know about you, but I was kind of told when I started out, treat others as you want to be treated yourself. And that's a reasonable place to start, I guess. It's not bad, but it is much better if you treat people as they want to be treated. And actually, Jamie, I heard this on one of your podcasts the other day that reminded me of that, so thank you for that one. Lots of us here today work from home, or we have staff that don't work with us or don't sit in the same office as us. I do. My small team of 4 people, we're not only spread across this country, we've got one of us is actually in Spain. So us finding a way to work together when there's such a big distance between us has been challenging. So we've relied on modern technology. We've set up WhatsApp groups. We set up a morning meeting now where even if we don't have something specifically to address, we just take that 10 minutes to check in on each other, to set up each day, to review what we did the day before. And when you're working remotely, that's hugely beneficial. That 10-minute investment at the start of every day, priceless. Pay was once considered the only motivator. We know that it's not the only motivating thing anymore, but it's also not something that you can forget. I do agree with Maslow on this one. There is no point giving somebody a nice office and plants in the corner room if you don't pay them properly. If they can't afford to live, if they're not going to stay, doesn't matter how well you treat them. And my final takeaway, which is the first step with this, is take the time to understand what drives you and your staff. Everybody is different, and just assuming that you can treat yourself and everybody else the same way is not the most efficient use of your time. And that is me done, guys. So I shall stop sharing.
Wow. Thank you very much, Chris.